Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to multiply both sides by r. So we get r squared equals r sine theta. R squared is x squared plus y squared. R sine theta is equal to y. And I think that might be it. For 22, it's the same thing, except for we got 5 sine theta. So once again, we make both sides multiply by r. So we got r squared equals 5r sine theta. X squared plus y squared equals, that is the same thing as y. And that's it. For problem number 23, we have negative 150, and we are looking for the lowest positive coterminal angle. So I add 360. I will keep adding 360 until I get a positive answer. Fortunately, we only had to do it once, and I'm at 210. Alright, for number 24, we have this triangle. It has 5 over here and 13 over here. So I'm going to do my Pythagorean theorem. And we get 25 plus b squared equals 169. Minus 25. B squared equals 144. So the missing side is 12. And here's theta. And here's the right angle, which means 13 is the hypotenuse, which is why I made it C. There's 12 is the opposite, and 5 is the adjacent, which means the sine of theta, which equals the opposite over the hypotenuse, would be 12 over 13. For problem number 25, it says you are in quadrant number 3, and the tangent is 7 over 24, except we're going to change both of these to negative because we are left and down. So, Pythagorean theorem, negative 7 squared plus negative 24 squared equals c squared. 625 equals c squared, square root, and this turns out to be positive 25. Remember, the hypotenuse is always positive. So, we are looking for the sine of theta. Well, here's the hypotenuse. The vertical side is always the opposite, and the x-axis is always the adjacent. Opposite over hypotenuse would be negative 7 over 25. For the tangent of 360, if you type in your calculator, you get the answer of 0. We're good. The cosine of 150. First of all, you need to know it is in the second quadrant, and it has a reference angle of 30. Now, when you do this and you need the exact answer, this is going to be your fourth finger or your ring finger that you pull down. And let's see, all students, so this is, negative. I count my fingers above the ring finger and I get 3. And there's a 2 in the middle of my hand, which means we get the square root of 3 over 2. When I do the sine of 45, this time I pull down the middle finger, so that's 45. And we have 2 fingers below, and you still see the palm, so we have the square root of 2. So 26 was 0, 27 was negative square root of 3 over 2, and 28 was the square root of 2 over 2. For number 29, it says we are going to 3, negative 4, which is on there. So here's 3 and here's negative 4. When we do the Pythagorean theorem, we wind up with 25 equals c squared. Square root of 25 is 5. And so the sine of theta turns out to be the opposite over the hypotenuse. So we wind up with negative 4 over 5. The x-axis is always the adjacent. And one more for this video, one of the shorter ones. G is 25. We have a right angle. And angle F is 52. And we want to find H. Well, here's the hypotenuse. Here's the opposite. Here's the adjacent. And we are still in degrees, so I'm going to use the cosine of 52 equals x over 25. When I multiply both sides by 25, I find out that x is equal to 15.4.